Hello and welcome back to another DeFi window tutorial. In this tutorial, what I'm going to talk about is DeFi Scatter. I mean, it's a much anticipated, the feature in DeFi Render, which released in with the 2.7 version. Now it has been updated with the latest functions in 2.8 version. So if you are not familiar with DeFi Render Scatter is the procedural content generation, or you can call it as a PCG scatter tool. That means you can very quickly generate and scatter a large amount of plants in the scene. So if you are just consider about a scene like this, you can see it's a massive terrain here, a lot of mountains. Actually, this scene was downloaded from the DeFi Render YouTube channel. It has a separate video with related to the DeFi scatter. You know why I'm gonna teach about the same thing is in that tutorial. I'm not gonna I feel that it has not talk about every feature, and it's might be difficult to understand about some features in that from that video. So that's why I'm gonna doing a separate video with related to DeFi Render Scatter. And if you just go to that YouTube video, in that video you will be able to download this scene here. It's with the DeFi Render channel, and you can download it. Same as myself, I have downloaded it because in here, as I said earlier, it has a lot of mountains. It has a lot of terrain here. So in this tutorial, so what I'm gonna do is I'll just use DeFi Scatter. Plus, there are bunch of features with related to DeFi Scatter, and I'll very briefly talk about the fundamentals of the scatter and how can utilize this DeFi Scatter into your rendering. So again, now if you just go to the top menu here, you can find the DeFi Scatter tool here. If you just click this one, and it will ask the two different options. The first one is the select material, and the second one will be the select model. So I'll initially go with the select material option. So I'll just click this one, and it will say the select material to create a scatter area. Now I'm going to select a very small area like this. So, and here it will ask the create scatter area. Now I'll create it. Now, if you just move closely here, you will be able to find, very, a pattern. That pattern is actually the DeFi scatter. So that is, if you just move closely, you can see these are the, these blue color rectangles are the, the scatter patterns. Now it has identified the area, and it has omitted the, the road area. That means it only identify the area which you have selected here. Now, again, once you have selected that one, a new inspector panel will be appear like this. Now it says the scatter 3, and here you have a couple of options. The first one is the edit scattering surface. The second one will be zoom in, and the third one will be the global scatter presets, which will provided by the DeFi Render free of charge. And the final one will be the studio. It is linked with the DeFi Studio if you're collaborating with other team members. Now we'll talk about it one by one. The first one is the edit scattering surfaces. Now we are in here again in a DeFi scatter. So you can see now it has been selected as a one particular scatter, and just remember inside this scatter you will be able to subdivide more and more scatters. So if you just click here, this is the scatter area, this is the scatter area. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just click here, and here you have the option called image divide. So what I'm going to do is I'll click this one. Once you have clicked this one, you can see a new sub area has been identified here. If you just click this one, you can see the sub area 0. So now again, what I'm going to do is I'll just click another one, image divide. That means I'll have sub and sub areas. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go to here. I'll just go to here, and I'll just select one nature category. So just remember, if you are like using a DeFi scatter, I mean, if your area is a large area, it's better to go with, the low resolution, the trees. So in here, you will be able to identify this is the low resolution. So what I'm going to do is I'll just use this, the asset here. Now I have clicked this one and I'll cancel this one. Now you can see my scatter has been, the populated like this. It has been, the pattern has been, given by the DeFi render. Now we'll check what other options you have. If I just move closely, you can see my pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'll just click this one, and here you have the option called the presets. Usually in presets, what you have to do is in presets, there are, the DeFi has provided, how your pattern distribution should be. For example, if you just click this one, this is a white color. That means your whole area will be covered by the, these assets. But if you just go to another pattern like this or this one, so things will be changed. Now we'll apply this one here. Now let's see what is going to happen here. Now it has been identified a different distribution. Now you can see different colors. If you go through here, you can see different colors here because that is as per this, this map here, that each color represent different kind of, the vegetation or assets. So for example, if you just click this one with area 0, it has been identified the local is cinnamon here. Now I'll just go here and I'll add another plant here. Okay, I'll add this one. Let's see what has happened here. Okay, it should be visible. Okay, distribution. Okay, it's there. And I'll just go to sub area and see that when you are clicking these sub areas, and it will identify, it will highlight the, the sub area related to that, the sub area. So what I'm going to do is I'll just click here. I'll click a different kind of a plant here because it here. Yeah, that will be better because it will be, you can see now my scatter has changed. Now I have in sub area 1 also I'll change the, the I'll change the content also. Yep. So I'll go with the low resolution here, and I'll use a different plant here. Okay, this one I'll download it now because I want to show how the difference will be. So that's why I'm using different kind of plants here, because it will show, that it will reflect the, the different type of plants inside your scatter. That means as per the, the pattern which which we have used, that is like a fully distributed pattern. It's very random. And there are, plenty of, scatter patterns or templates that, have, a proper way, or maybe proper, identification with related to the, the plants. So you can use them, and you are able to download from the, the internet, and you can import that, scatter pattern to here as well. I'll show that in a while. So I'll use this one and I'll close this one. Now we can see, okay, I'm sorry, should be insert area 1, click this one. I'll add the row resolution one. Now I'll use it. Now, so now you will be able to see in my pattern. Okay, now I'll remove this one. I'll turn off this one, or maybe I'll remove this one entirely. Okay, now you should be able to see the pattern here. I'll just delete this tree here. I'll increase the distribution in order to see. Okay, now it's been generated. Okay, now you can see couple of trees, but the one which we have selected is a bit uh, you know a very small type of a plant. That's why it's not showing properly. So now this is my scatter. So if you just click this my scatter, you can see, you'll be able to see there are three subsectors, sub areas, sub area 0, sub area 1, and sub area 2. And here in the following, it says usually it's like this. The content will gives out the glimpse of the the detail which you have used in the scatter type, especially in the sub areas. So if you just click this one content, you can see this is my uh, the asset type which I have used. Okay, hope you are clear about it. Now we'll discuss about the the content and the all the other things, is density, cluster, and size in the next video. Welcome back to another DeFi render tutorial. Uh, in previous videos, we have talked about the scatter, and we have not, done yet about the scatter. Scatter has a lot of tools here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'll add my scatter. I'll select the material here, and I'll choose this area, and I'll create it. Once you are creating it, you can see there are plenty of options. In previous videos, we have talked about these, the options. Now we have to talk about these things. And in content, you will be finding the content presets. If you just click here, you can find the predefined templates from the DeFi itself for the scatter, so you can use them. So here you have 50 number of scatters: low landscape, ground cover, the forest landscape, the waterfront lands, the urban landscape, and the crops. There are plenty of things you can download it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just uh, make it this one, and we'll see what happening here. I'll close it. So now it's my scatter has been created. So you can see this, a turning, pending circle here. Now remember, since this is a very large area, when you're using these presets, because these presets contain a lot of assets, a lot of vegetations, and it will slow down your computer. So be careful, mindful about the things you are applying. So usually, if you are using some kind of the big assets like these kind of a trees, then you will be able to manage the the scene. But if you're using this kind of a very small elements, small assets for the the presets as the the DeFi scatter, and it will definitely slow down your computer. So be mindful about it. When you're using it, we always try to use you can see, if I just move my the viewport, you can see there are plenty of the high quality scatter pattern applied here. So you can see from here, and these are the the assets. It has been, I mean, the divisions, subdivisions, I mean, in previous video I have talked about it. And this is the scatter pattern, and this is the preset. So we'll talk about this preset. So now what I'm gonna do is, so this kind of a presets or templates are available with the the DeFi scatter. So now I'm gonna delete it, in order to apply another thing. So again, I'll just click this one, I'll create it. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna go with the presets or the templates. So now I'm gonna use my the DeFi Pro asset. So again, I'm gonna click here, and here it will be automatically redirect to your assets, DeFi Render Pro asset. So now what I'm gonna do is, I'll use some broadleaf here. So this tree pattern I'll apply here, and I will close down here. Now you can see, as per the the preset, as per the the pattern. So it has been applied. This is the pattern which I have choose by default. So if you just click the asset here, you will find a couple of the options. The first one is scaling option. In scaling option, So what the scale mean is the size of the model. Actually, if you increase it, your scale, I mean, your model asset size will be increased. Now, if you just increase it by 150, you will see my huge growth in my asset type here. So usually I'll keep it as it is as 100. So you can see, and the probability of occurrence is the number of objects per unit in designated area. So that means the if you have the higher value, that means more densely the model will appear. And I'm not using it at this moment. And we'll talk about the generating direction. It's previously known as up direction. So if I just move closely, now you can see my three types are, the vertical, whether it's the surface, whatever the surface here. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just decrease it, the generating direction, see what happens. So it will be, okay, now I'll increase it, sorry. Now you can see it has been, the perpendicular to the surface, whatever happens. So usually if you just decrease it, so it will be, like this. That means vertical, whether it's, the slopy area, or maybe the flat area. But if you just increase it, it will be fully vertical or maybe the perpendicular to the surface. So hope you're clear about it. And the final one will be the collision volume. So the collision volume is the ratio between the collision radius and the radius of uh, the model itself, actually. So just to have an idea about the collision, so I'll just click here to idea about the collision volume. The collision volume changes with the scale parameter. If we just increase it or decrease it, the collision volume will be changed, but the ratio will be as it is. I mean, the automatically it will change the sizing, but the collision volume, the ratio will be same. And the collision volume and the density from the distribution, it has a interrelated, I mean, it both has, some kind of a connection. So if you just increase in the density, and your model is not, densifying or maybe having a lot of trees, that because of the collision volume, that may be a collision volume increased or maybe the decrease. So that may be the cause. So again, just have an idea about when you are increasing density, if you are not seeing any result, that means your collision volume has a problem. Again, it does have a relationship from the density and the collision volume. Hope you're clear about it. Now we have talked about the content here. I hope you're clear about the content here. Now we'll discuss another very important thing that is called the distribution. In distribution, the initial part is the preset. So what is the mean of having a preset here? If you just click this preset here, you can see a pretty, the white rectangle. That means, having a lot of trees. I mean, if you just click here, and now you can see, oh, I'll make it here. I'll just click here. If you just click this, the preset here, you can see, the white patterns and the black patterns. Usually black patterns means that area does not have any, the vegetation growth assets. Only the white area. So in a particular scene, a preset like this, you'll be seeing that, the white area does have these kind of assets or the vegetations, and the whole other area will be blank. And that means a lack of trees or vegetations. So again, in GPy render, you are able to apply this kind of the presets from the DeFi itself, or maybe you will be able to custom import it from your desktop, or if you have any kind of a the black and white maps, so you will be able to import it here. And here you have a couple of options: stretch, UV, and the tile here. So if you just move here, you can see stretch, and I'll make it UV. So it will change the randomness here and the tile here. Okay.
I hope you're clear about it. I mean, if you want to have more randomness into your cluster, select a cluster like this, and it will, have a pretty good thing. And now what I'm gonna do is I'll just decrease it because I mean it's pretty annoying when you are having trees perpendicular to the surface. So hope you're clear about it. I mean, in previous video. Okay. Now here you have another option. If you have stretch, I mean you can increase it or decrease it the size of the stretch, and you have the offset, you can rotate it. That means this, the preset will be stretched from here. Now if you just click here, it will be automatically synced between the both option. Now you can see it will be interrelated, and here you have the offsets similar to when you are this kind of a scenario is very similar to when you are applying the map type to the material texture maps and the rotation. Okay, now let's move on to the second option in the distribution, that is called the density. So now here says 2 pt per 100 meter square meter. That means two number of model will be appear in the particular area contains 100 square meters. So if I just increase it to maybe a certain level like 115, now we can see very dense. Now again, hope you're clear about it. In my previous video I have mentioned that the collision volume and the density have it does have some kind of a relationship here. Now think about it. Now if you just decrease it to a very certain level, maybe 20, now see what happened here. It's more densified. Okay, now see what will happen like this. Now it has very less number of the assets here because my collision volume is so much high. So that means even though you are increasing the density, but the collision volume is so high, that means you don't have much the densely populated assets here. In order to do that, better to have maybe 100 collision volume. Now it's pretty good here. Now you can maybe decrease it a bit. Okay, and I will rotate it. Now it has been at a very random. Okay, hope you're clear about it. And the second option will be the cluster size. The cluster size will be the size of the group or the cluster formed when the scattering models. I mean, if you have a larger cluster size, the bigger cluster will be. Okay, hope you're clear about it. And this parameter can be able to simulate, for example, if you want to have a clustering of trees, then this is the option. You can increase the cluster size here. Now 7.5. And here you have the cluster noise. That is actually the meaning of the randomness when forming clusters. So even though you are using presets, this will be help to use a lot of random clusters, increasing the value. That means it will make the edges of the clusters look more natural. So those things can be do if you just increase the noise here. Now uh, these kind of a cluster size and the cluster noise will be a bit very difficult to identify through tree types. If you are having a very small area like very maybe the grass type or maybe any kind of a small plants, then you will be able to identify the cluster size and importance of the cluster size and the cluster noise. Hope you are clear about it. And the cluster noise will be, we have talked about it, and we'll talk about the cluster blur. The cluster blur is actually the merging of the edges of clusters. I mean, if you're increasing the value, I mean, it will, automatically converges the cluster boundaries, and it will reduce the, the delineation between the clusters and the create more organic types. So again, just remember if you're increasing it, I mean, if you have pretty large area, or maybe if you are using a lot of assets, there will be, the lag that can be happen to your computer. So if you increase it, that means more randomness and the more accurate and the more organic transition between two different kind of assets can be happen here. Now in here, it will be only showing you the one type of assets here. But if you're using it for like loan, or maybe in the backyard, and if you're having, the so much of plants, then this options will be come up with the handy. Okay, now we have already talk about the the this the content here and the distribution. So I'll make it. Next session will be the transformations. In transformation, you have the random scaling, random rotation, and the random offset. Here in my option here, it has already enabled here. Random scale means randomly scale the plant to different size in the set of range. So here you have the X, Y, Z. It will depend on the the X minimum and the maximum X value, and the Y will be different. Will be the maybe the minimum value and the maximum value. You can differentiate it. Maybe you can do it to a 140. That's cool. It can be happen. So that means the each in scatter pattern. So there will be random scaling type here. If you just disable it, all will be same time. Okay, hope you're clear about it. You have to do it. I mean, you have to give certain number of here. If you want to make it very unique here, what you can do is I'll make it 120, and I'll make it 160, and I'll make it to maybe 50 kz. So now you can see a lot of height difference because of that option. And again, similar to the random scaling, you have the random rotation. It randomly rotate the plant to different direction within the set range. I mean, I'm not gonna go through each and everything because it's pretty easy to understand. So you have the minimum and the maximum value in between. The inside your scatter, all the assets and the vegetations will be act according to this rules here. Okay. And finally, you have the random offset. That means randomly moves the plant with the range of X, Y, Z. So axis. So I hope you're clear about it. I mean, these kind of pretty basic stuff, but there's the limitation. You can customize it to between the minimum and the maximum values. So accordingly, if you just enable these things, I mean, by default, it has been enabled here. By default, you will be enabled, and you will have pretty, very decent scenes because of these kind of options here. I mean, in DeFi team, they have think about a lot of these things. I mean, when they are, releasing this DeFi scatter, because this kind of a things is very important when you are doing, so much of landscape works. There's another option called the seed, which related to DeFi scatter here. So what the seed actually does is, I mean, it randomly arrange the overall global growth effects. So you can the manually enter, either you can enter manually, or you can click this icon to be more random. I mean, DeFi will select a very suitable the value from here. So here you can see randomly it has been changing. So that means DeFi will automatically do it, or otherwise you can do maybe 400 here by manually, and it will be acted accordingly. So if you are clear about it, I mean, it usually do the the randomness arrangement of the the overall growth, global growth effect. So very easy about these things. I mean, but it's pretty easy to have more accurate, more realism to your project. So there will be another effect called cowl effect.
in the scatter. So we need to learn about the, cull effect. The cull means actually reducing the population. So I have imported this is actually a Revit file. I have done it through the Revit. But in similar scenarios, for example, if I create a new scatter here, now what I'm going to do is I'll select the material and I'll choose this area and I'll create it, and I'll apply some of the presets here. So if I apply this one, see what will happen here. So I will close it. Now you can see the road has been disappeared from the population or the assets which I have used in the scatter tool. So in order to the reduce the use of the cull effect, so what you have to do is, I mean, in each and every scatter, from the bottom you will find a new menu called the effects, and it's called the cull effect. In here you will be seeing the click on the plus to create a cull effect. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just click plus button here and I'll apply the cull effect, and it will ask select the material to create a cull area. So the material will be this one. Once I have clicked this one, and it will ask the create cull effect. So now what I'm going to do is I'll create it. Now see what will happen here. Now it's bit clear. Now you can see all the grass effects has been stopped from this boundary because I have used my cull effect on the scatter here. Okay, I hope you are clear about it. And not only that, actually there are plenty of settings for the cull effects. But usually, so if I move closely, and you can see the boundaries here, and there will be some additional the grass type has been over the line of the boundary. So what I'm going to do is I'll just click this one, and it will say the cull range. So if I increase it, and you will see what will happen, the boundary will be moved further inside. Now the cull effect from the similar to my pattern here, it will be using this kind of effect from here also. So again, if I just reduce it, so you can see my cull effect will be moving towards. Now it has been created. Now you can see it has been created like this. So if I just move to 0, and it will come to the end of this boundary here. Okay, yeah, that's good for me. And there will be another the settings called the fall of error. If I just enable it, there will be a type of the options here. The first one is the distance. If I just increase it, and we'll see what will happen here. So similar to that, the cull range, your boundary will be moved a bit further because I have used say 0.83. If I just increase it to 3.13, it will be moved more from the boundary here. So you can see I have used one. So I'll use maybe another. No, I'll use this one. And there's another code, the density. If I just increase the density, you will be seeing that the scatter area will be more dense. Now it has been more dense because I have increased the density here. And here I'll use the scale a bit larger. See what will happen. So similar to the usual pattern, and your asset will be larger. Okay, hope you can clear about it. So, and there will be another option called the noise here. If I just increase the noise, and the pattern will be random move. So noise will be moved. So hope you're clear about it. You can see that my pattern has been moved random rather than the previous one. If I just decrease it, see what will happen. It will stay as per the the given instructions from the top area. Now you can see it has been like this. Okay, so again I'll just apply a different kind of a pattern here in order to understand about the the settings of the cull effect. Now I'll just close this one. Now you can see there are plenty of assets here. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just decrease the distance, and I'll move like this, and I'll increase the the noise here.
see what will happen. So random effect can be arranged and the color range also there. You can type or maybe 0.1 likewise, or otherwise you can disable this one. Okay, this is the the almost the boundary because I have used 0.1 color range. So I hope you are clear about the color range. So again, you can apply this some kind of a material from the asset library for this, the road area, and you will have a very good scene like this. Very smooth because rather than using a manual effect, this color effect from the scatter will utilize your time and it will help you to, do more rendering. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about how we can achieve a realistic kind of interior scene. This is actually from the DeFi welcome page, and here you will be able to go back to the welcome page, and you can download this scene. This was provided by the DeFi team. So if I just move out from the scene, you will be able to find this is actually a sample model, and they have put some buildings up here to get a more realistic the interior vibe, because when you're seeing the outside from the inside, and having this kind of a urban buildings type of a thing will be added advantage. Not only that, actually you can achieve certain HDRIs. So in here you will be able to find the HDRI. So if I just move back here, so in this tutorial, what we are gonna do is we'll just delete these, the urban areas, and we'll apply materials, we'll apply some, settings, and you'll get to know about these things, because, with the time you will understand that having a, the realistic interior is a must, and it's pretty easy. I mean, people think that, achieving this kind of a realism is very difficult, but no, to achieve this kind of a realism, what you need is a proper HDRI, plus the high quality materials, and also some settings from this effect button here. And ultimately, you need to have a proper objects, proper 3D assets, whether it's from the DeFi or maybe a third party assets. So that depends actually. I mean, even in here assets, you will be find plenty of good models. I mean, even an interior or any other. I mean, they are high quality. I mean, if you want to use your own, the furniture or any other things, that is also possible from the DeFi. So at the very initial state, what I'm gonna do is I'll just download a HDRI from the Polyheaven. If you just go to the web and type the Polyheaven, this is a Polyheaven site actually. This is not actually for the HDRIs, it does have the textures and the models as well. So if we just go through here, it's actually free. I mean, you can download as much as you want. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just browse HDRI, and here you have some couple of options, whether what you want to have, whether it's a studio, indoor, or maybe the outdoor, maybe the night. So that depends actually. For this kind of a thing, I'll just click the outdoor, and in outdoor I'll go with the urban area. Okay, now you can see you have plenty of the HDRI. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just download one thing. So particularly like this kind of a thing, you need to have maybe this kind of a rooftop balcony or any other, because it will gives it will have an idea about the the urban area is the is there, and you will be able to apply these settings, because having this kind of a thing is very useful at the HDRI. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just click on this here, and here you have the options. You should download with the EXR file type. And just to remind, I mean, just to have a note, you have to, I mean, it's a must from my end as an option for the achieve better realism. you should be able, you should download actually at least 8K, and here you will be having 16K and the 24K. If you go with the 16 core to 24K, and just have a note, because your model will be heavy, plus you will achieve more realism. So it's up to you. You can see even the 8K is like 67.58 MB. Now, if you just select 16K, you can see it's 219. If you go the 24, it's 526. This only is HDRI. I mean, think about it. I mean, when you are putting all the 3D assets, plus having any other objects, and your model will be getting so large, and sometimes it will try to lag as well. So just to have remember about these things, whether the minimum requirement will be the 8K and the maximum will be 24K. That's up to you to download it. So I have downloaded one of the the HDRI skies. So I'm not gonna load here. So I want to go back to the DeFi, and I want to show another thing. That is actually these materials. I mean, if you just go here, you can see my materials are. Oh, now I'm gonna turn off my the clipping plane. Okay. So now if you move close to some of the materials, you can see these materials are high quality. It's up to a discussion whether you want to apply materials from the DeFi assets. Here you will be having the material library. There are plenty of materials here. You can see almost the 2000 materials exist in the DeFi asset library. But for some particular reason, some people using the Quixel. I mean, if you just go to the Quixel, it's part of the Epic Games. I mean, if you are having the Unreal Engine, the sign in details, you will be able to sign into the Quixel as well. You just type the Quixel Megascans, and you just have to sign in from the Epic Games, and you will be redirected to this the page. But maybe because now the Epic Games has moving its all the 3D assets to the new platform called the Fab. Maybe when I'm publishing these the courses, so it will be it might move to the Fab. You can see the notification here. It says the Megascans are moving to Fab. So whether it's Fabber or maybe the Megascans or any other thing, but achieving this kind of a realism, you need to have proper materials. Now, for example, now if you just click the tile here, you will find plenty of the surfaces, or maybe the scan detail. You can see plenty of things. I mean, there are hundreds of the scans, or maybe 3D designs, 3D assets. You can download it. What you can do is, from the download itself, you just go back to the DeFi and press I here. Now I'm just pressing this the surface here. Now you can see there are maps here. The base color will be the the surface color, and the normal map like a blue color thing, and the specular. Usually these things are not specular, because specular are for a metallic type of a thing. And you have the roughness or the displacement, and finally you have the metallic, whether it's metallic surface or not, and also you have the AO material. So usually when you are downloading it from the Quixel, you will be having this AO map, roughness or a displacement, normal map, specular map will become for a particular specific surfaces, and you have the base color. So what you can do is, from the if you just go back to the Quixel, now I'm gonna press this one, and here at least download a 8K resolution to have a proper surface or maybe a visualization. Just download it, and you will be downloading the WinRAR file. What you have to do is, you have to unzip it, and you have to in that folder you will be able to find these kind of maps here. What you have to do is, you have to just click this one and just import it. So this is actually one of my Quixel Megascans. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll just import the now I'll click this one. I'll just go back to the base color map. Sorry, actually you have to change the base color map. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to import the albedo map here. Now see what will happen. The servers will be totally different now. Now you can see it has been different. You can apply, because these things already applied settings are very, very realistic, because you can apply the the very specific one here. This is the very own texture, a normal map. What you have to do is just click this one, open it, and here you have the roughness or the displacement. Here you can see the displacement. You will import the displacement, and here you have the AO file. This is actually the AO file, and actually I have mistakenly imported the displacement map. Now you have the roughness. Okay, now it's pretty clear. And now what you can do is, now if we just move closer, you can see the my tile edges and everything. So now what I'm gonna do is I'll just okay, I'll just go here. I'll just click this one. I'll just switch it. Now you can see. Okay. Now I have larger tiles. Okay. Okay. Now you have large tiles. So that's why I want to stretch it. Now I'll decrease the switch. Can see my tiles as a larger area. So it up to you to decide whether the XY, the pattern here. Now you can see pretty realistic material type. Now again, I'll go back to the environment. So what I'm going to do is I'll just import a custom, because from the Polyheaven, I have already downloaded a HDRI Sky. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just click the customize HDRI. So in here, this is actually the thing I have downloaded. Now I'll going to open it. Now let's see what will happen to the background here. Now you can see my background has been completely changed. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just go here and I'll just delete all these things. Okay. Now this is my HDRI. Now you can see from here, since I have downloaded the 8K version, there are some blurry areas. So if you need to have a proper, HDRI, because it's a pretty large area, I can see from here. So in order to achieve a proper, HDRI, you need to at least go with the 16K over the 24K. But you just to have a note, because achieving this thing will costly, because it will try to slow down your PC if you are like having a minimum requirement PC for the DeFi render. So I hope you are clear about it. So we'll move on to the next tutorials, and we'll dig into these settings as well. And actually I only applied one material type, because there are plenty of things. So in upcoming videos we'll just talk about it. In this video, we'll talk about how once you have imported the HDRI Sky. I think in the previous video we have done that. And once you have imported that one into your model, and how the lights will change, and how you can change settings in your environment panel with related to the all the lighting. So in order to achieve a realism in your image, so how the settings will work, and what are the things you can work on to achieve realism. So the first one is actually, now that in previous video we have imported a HDRI Sky. So once you have imported, in here your image will be changed as per the the imported HDRI. So usually you are having a menu like this, the light and the rotation. That means that you can rotate the the HDRI Sky, and you can control the light here. But if you just press this one, you will be able to achieve some more settings. That's the first one is called the skylight. The skylight means the amount of light that will enter into your room. So now if you just go inside my model here, now if you control the skylight here, you can see from here. Now if you increase it, you will be seeing the brighter, the light. So you will see a more brighter, because in this video, in this, the image, you will not see much, but once you have rendered the image or a video, you will find plenty of light has been increased, because you have increased the highlight to 1. So usually I'm keeping it a bit low here, because we are using some artificial lighting as well, not only the HDRI, the lightings. And here you have another option called the background. Background means you are the background, how much bright it will be. So usually once you have the important HDRI, now let's see from here. Now if you just increase the, now you can see the HDRI sky has been brightened up. So usually you will keep it low, because as per your requirement, as per your the settings, what you have to do is you have to adjust it by thinking about your model. So usually I'm keeping it low like this, because once you have brightened, it will have some unrealistic kind of a feeling for the image. So I'll keep it as it is. Now again, if you just move inside, so I need to show another thing. So in here you have the sun effect. So usually when you have sun effect here, because these are the now I'm enabling my sun effect. Now let's see what are the difference between with sun or without sun. Now once you have applied that one, you can see my sun shadows has been appeared in my model. So usually with the enabling the sun option, you will be getting the sunlight intensity, sunlight radius. So what these settings do is actually, so usually now you can see this shadow here. This shadow is generated from this window here. Now if you just increase the sunlight intensity, now you can see the shadow has been brightened, all the light has been brightened. But remember, in order to achieve a realistic image, you need to control your sun intensity with the sunlight radius. So usually if you keep increasing the sunlight radius, you will see I'll decrease it as possible, because now you can see very sharp edges. So usually in practical life, in real life scenarios, you won't get this much of a sharp here. So if you just increase the sunlight radius, you can have some blurry effect on this shadow area. Now you can see that blurry effect. So now you increase it, it like disperse among the all the other areas. So that's what we need to achieve the realistic image. So I'll keep it as this amount, because it feels look more realistic rather than having very sharp edges. So that's the thing. So you need to understand about it, and you will be able to change the color temperature. That means the color, whether it's warmer, whether it's the daylight, or maybe cooler. So you will be able to change, but usually I'll go with the 6500, and it will give you some cozy a warmer light pattern here. Okay, now hope you're clear about that. Now we'll move on to another section that is actually we need to, in order to have a more stylish or maybe realistic, we need to have the artificial lighting. So usually when you are placing artificial lighting, the first thumb rule will be, say that now you have this kind of a area of a window. Now the rule will be, you need to apply a rectangular light similar to this size, because it will gives as a sun effect, artificial sun effect. Sunlight will comes into the the inside of my the model. So and it will give so more realistic view, or maybe the realistic the image kind of a thing. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to apply some add light here, and I'll just go with the rectangular light, and I'm going to apply it. Okay, now this is my rectangular light. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll just make it bit backward, and now I'm turning it to like 90 degrees. Now this is my light actually. Now you can see here. Now I'll place it like here. and I'll just increase the size here. Okay, I'll just increase the size bit here. Okay, now it seems symmetrical. Otherwise you will be you can use the wireframe, and you can use the clay and the and those things as well. So again, now what I'm gonna do is I'll just increase the size of the my light here. Okay, now you can see I'll just untick and I'll increase it. No, I'll take 2000. Okay, it's pretty large for me, but there should be a distance. Now I'm gonna untick this one, and then I'll just increase 2800. Okay, now I'll just decrease the 1500. Okay, that's pretty good actually. Now you can see my lighting has been covered the whole area, but I'll just make it more bit down. Yeah, that's fine now. So about this light, the settings here, I'll decrease my intensity up to now 3 here. Now we'll talk about the barn angle and the the barn door length. So in order to understand about that, so I'll go back to the environment, and I'll make it the night sky here. Now we'll use this area. Now I'm gonna create another rectangle here. Now you can see from here what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn up this sorry. Okay, 90 degrees, that's okay. Now I'll make it a bit smaller here. Okay, and I'll make it a bit closer here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'll just decrease the intensity for 3. Okay, okay. Or otherwise I'll make it 10 here in order to see the light here. Now you can see my barn door angle is a bit high here. Now what I'm gonna do is the barn door length. So that means if you have larger values, that means you have more focus. So these are interconnected. So I'm gonna increase the barn door angle here, barn door length here. Okay, it's a bit far from the the object. Now you can see. Okay, I'll just increase it, keep increasing it. Now I'm gonna decrease the barn door angle and see what will happen. So it has more focus rather than the larger value. And see a more focus. If you just move closely here, you will get a pretty sharp edges because you have a less barn door angle. So if you increase it, you will see this is the the angle has been increasing. So again, if you just it has a the interconnection between the barn door length. So you can see it will as a typical rectangular light. So again, if you just increase it, it will has more focus, and it will be very easy for the barn door angles as well. So again, you have a sharp one, you have a large area, and you have more focus here. I mean, less focus here. If you increase it, the barn door length, you have more focus. Okay, hope you are clear about it. So similarly, I mean, you need to apply that settings to your artificial lighting. So again, I'll just go back here and I'll use the HDRI sky. So what I'm gonna do is usually maybe just click this one. Now I can see my barn door angle being 88. So usually what I'm gonna do is I'll just decrease it to be more focused, maybe 11 or maybe the 15. And even though I mean you will be not seeing this the settings which I'm gonna apply now, but it will affect the final image. These are the settings. I mean the settings which I'm using is I have achieved by doing a lot of trial and error. So I believe that it will be and it can be used for your model as well. So the barn door length, I'm going to increase it. Now you can see the yellow lines have been increasing. That means your light focus on more here. So we are clear about it. So now let's talk about the attenuation radius here. So usually it's better to keep maybe 60,000 or maybe any other larger than that, means the the what do you call the, and again, just have a remember the attenuation radius and the intensity is only applying, only will be able to apply the strip light and the rectangular light. So the attenuation, the mean, that is the impact of the light. So usually you have a pretty large radius, that means your whole model will be getting some benefits from that. So lesser means you will, if you just increase, you can see your impact of the light will be very less. But I know you need to have more, so I'll just increase it up to 60,000 or more. So now you will be, whole area can be covered through the attenuation radius. And the attenuation intensity means that what do you call the, it will control the light attenuation distance similar to the the attenuation radius, but it will decide the distance between the light object and your model, and it will adjust the illumination range of rectangular light. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just increase it a bit, not a large amount, because otherwise your model will be overexposed. Now I'm going to delete this one. So I'll click this one. Now you can see my model has been, all the artificial light settings has been updated. Now here you have another option called show light shape. So if you, in order to show the light shape, so you can enable it, but I don't need that kind of a effect, because I'm using this as an artificial lighting for a sun, so I don't need that one. And again, there's another option called visible in reflection. That means if you have a reflective object or a surface, this will control how the reflection works. Say suppose that you have a the glass vase or something. So if you just enable this one, sure, your artificial lighting will act on the surface of the the glass vase, and it will reflect it. So you can control it, because usually I'm gonna apply this setting because it will give you more realism rather than having nothing here. So hope you're clear about it. And this is the final setting, that is called the temperature and the color. Usually I'm keeping as a warm as it is, like 6,500. And here you will be able to use some color settings as well if you need the coloring. And here you have the caustics. We have a separate session video for the caustics, and caustic will give the natural the shadowing effect. Then now if you have this kind of a, say suppose that you have a water, now the caustics will the reflect or bend the the light rays and see how the shadows work. So usually if you enable it, it can be apply when you have a the water kind of a surface here, but here you don't have, so I'm not gonna apply this one. So hope you're clear about it. You can have another here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll just click shift button here, and now I'm gonna, okay, sorry, I have to control here. Okay, now sorry. Now I'm gonna press shift here, and I'm gonna copy my light settings to here, because now what I did was I actually copied the same light source to this window as well. So it's pretty easy. If you have these settings once for a while, and you can apply that to all of the model. Okay. Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll discuss how we can set up our light fittings or light fixtures with related to artificial lightings, because even though you have placed the natural lightings, you have placed the artificial lightings coming out from the window, and if you have placed the HDRI sky, and if you have configure about the environment settings here, but in order to achieve realism, you need to have a proper artificial lightings. So in this model, you will be fine. You know, this is a lampshade, and it has a emissive material inside here. And here you have the background cupboard, so you can use some strip lightings here. So that's what we are going to discuss here, and initially we'll talk about some strip lightings here. So usually having this kind of a cupboard will enhance your scene by adding some strip lights. So usually if you just go to here and if you just place the strip light here, so usually now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my strip light here. Now you can see I have placed my strip light here, and it has more length than this area. So what I'm going to do is I'll just adjust the lighting, the length here. Usually I'll just make it smaller. Okay, yeah, now it's okay. And you can adjust the the location of the lighting. You can see now if I just move here, it has this kind of effect here. So again, now what I'm gonna say, the intensity 30 is bit more high, so I'll just reduce it to maybe 6 or 5. And to become more warmer, usually I'll make it 3500 because it will make the light more warmer. And now we'll go back and see how the things have appearing now. Okay, now you can see it has a dramatic effect. It has a more realism. Similarly, you have to apply these strip lighting throughout the the cupboard to get more realism. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just click this one, and I'll just press shift and copy this lighting to everywhere. So here it does have a smaller, it should be smaller because it has okay, I'll just place it like this. Similarly, I'm gonna shift and I'm gonna copy that to this area. So I'll just delete this, and I'll just, because those two are similar length. And what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this lighting to here as well. So okay, I'll just increase the length, maybe 2000. It's not enough, maybe 3000. Okay, I'll make it more. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'll just make it because of the natural lighting here, it will be a bit high. So what I'm going to do is I'll just increase the intensity here to get, okay, now hope you can see it has a pretty good vibe here because I have applied some strip lightings here. And similarly, now you can see, you can find a lampshade here, but it's not realistic. Why? The material you have used for the lampshade is not transparent. So usually if you're having the lampshade, usually your material is transparent. It should be the light source, or maybe the attenuation radius, or maybe the lighting intensity should be visible inside your lampshade. So here, if you are having this kind of a lampshade, usually what you have to do is just pick the material picker here, and now you can see your material template as a custom. So what you have to do is you have to go here and you have to select the cloth material. Now once you have select the cloth materials, you can see it has a translucent effect here. Now you can do is you can click this opacity to become more, but here it's not realistic, so you have to make it more. And what you can do is you can decrease the emissive material here. It's pretty high. Usually if you make it by 6, okay, now you can see, yes, it's a bit good, still high here, maybe 1. So if you want to have the light shape here, I hope you'll remember the previous video here. So attenuation radius, I'll just make it like this, because I don't want my attenuation radius to be all over the place, because it's a lampshade. Usually light source of the lampshade does not have a pretty large area as attenuation radius. So usually I'll keep it like this. So I'll make it a bit high. Okay, now it's good. Now you can see, by comparing to the previous, the initial, the model, and now you have a pretty realistic, because you have applied the strip lightings here, and you have applied some cloth materials here. And similarly, from the cloth material, you can have custom opacity maps, you can have the the specular map as well. But usually I'll go with here, and I'll just make it the full of a little bit less. Okay, so hope you're clear about it. So having these effects will give more realism to your model, and it will be pretty realistic when you have couple of these settings included to your final render, and you will have a pretty realistic rendering. Suppose that you have a scene like this. This is actually a night scene, a same 3D model. I have turned the the light to be 0, because now it has been identified as the night scene. Now if you move around the 3D model, now you can see it's pretty dark here, because I have turned off some of the artificial sunlight coming throughout the this window here. Again, if I just move to outside, I'll show you that I have some light sources here. In here you can see there's a one typical light source. It's pretty large, and there's another light source here, and it act like a sun here. So now you can see the intensity as 12. So if I make it to 1, now let's see what happened inside, because my 3D model, inside my 3D model, it has been lit up because of this outside light. Now you can see it's pretty dark here, because I have reduced the intensity of the the outer artificial light source. So again, if I just increase it to 10 numbers, now you can see my scene has been lit up. So usually in normal practice, so what you have to do is you have to decrease it maybe at least to 5. Now your scene might be darker, but you need to apply a certain amount of artificial lighting to the your 3D model. Now you can see from my model here, there are a couple of light fixtures here. So usually the first step should be, you can place some of the artificial lighting, usually the rectangular lighting, all over your place. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just place this light here, and I'll make the maybe the size of 100. Okay, and the intensity to be at least 5, because I don't want to lit up all these places, because in practical way, in real life, you don't have a scene like fully lit up because of the the night sky or any other light source. Usually you have dark places, you have the brighter ones with the light fixtures. So now I'll just place this my light fixture here. So again, if placing of your light artificial lighting is a bit hard, you can use the wireframe. So by enabling wireframe, you will be able to see all these as wires like this, and you can place your the light fixtures very easy. So now
you can see I have gone up. So I'll go down again here and I'll make it the real world one. Okay. I'll make it a little bit up. Okay, sorry. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'll just increase the attenuation radius, and I believe having the intensity of 5 is not enough, so I'll make it to 10. We'll see the effect. Okay, there's nothing much, maybe 15. Okay, there's not much here. 20. So I think there's a problem with the light. Okay, because I have placed my light upper side of the ceiling, so that's why it does not have any effect on the intensity. Now I'll decrease it, maybe 15. Okay, now maybe 5 to see the difference. Okay, there's not much difference if I just increase it. Okay, so you can see the difference. If I just increase the intensity so much, there will be a lot of thing will cover. So I'll make it the attenuation radius to this area. Okay, now I'll just decrease it to maybe 100. Now I'm gonna place this lighting all over my place. So usually I'll cover with 4. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll just again copying this to this side as well. Okay, if you want further, you can have that. So now you can see your model has been lit up because of this artificial lighting. So again, from here you will be able to control your thing. I mean, you can see this is actually a rectangular light 4. If I just press this one and press this one and this one, or maybe all the way up to here by from the shift, and I'll use the here. Now you can see all of this rectangular light has been selected, and you can increase the intensity or decrease the intensity. So that's up to you. I mean, it's a pretty easy way to select all these things. So I'll make it maybe 200, and I'll make the a bit warmer here, 355. Okay, that will give some luxury. Oh no, it's not, it's bit too much. So I'll increase and I'll make it more cooler here. Okay, maybe 6000 will be enough. Yeah, that's better. Okay, if I just press escape here, now you can see this is the current model here. And there's another thing you can do, and that is, I mean, you can see there are some dark places in my model here. So you can lit up, because having photorealism in your model, you have to find up all the dark places, because otherwise it will be so dull when you have the final image rendered. So in order to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'll just click this one and I'll go up to here and I'll make it bed here. So I'll increase the attenuation radius and I'll decrease the intensity, because otherwise it's too obvious that having, even though there's no light fixtures there might be a light. So it's not good to have that kind of a faulty in your render. So I'll decrease it to maybe 2 or anything, and I'll just increase the bundle length as well. Okay, I hope it's good now. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I'll just press escape here, and if I just go to effect here, and you can see there's a cool AO, that is ambient occlusion. So what this tool does is actually, so if I just disable it, usually, I mean, when the artificial lighting or the natural lighting,
touch the surface of the any of the area, usually these, the edges or maybe the dark places, usually they are a bit darker. Because of that, if you need to increase the, I mean, if you can increase the AO from here, I mean, your edges and all the dark places will be lit up. So usually you can check from here, this effect panel. If I just enable here, and I'll just make it here. Now you can see a white clay model here. Now, if you just increase the model, you can see a bit darker. That means these edges will not get much light. So usually if I just go here, that means your model will be fully lit up. There will be no such dark places or anything. Again, if I just move here, you can have plenty of dark places. In order to, preview these things, here there's an option called the AO overlay in preview. So if I just enable this, now you can see it has been enabled. If you just increase it, now you can see as it is, I mean, whatever you have applied, because once you are rendering these things, I mean, this image will be rendered, because this will give an idea about the preview. So usually I'll make it to 2 and I'll decrease the radius here to bit. Now you can see your model being a little bit dark, but you have to be very careful because it's pretty tricky. You need to identify all the places here. Now you can see my whole ceiling has been gone to dark, so I don't want that kind of effect, so I'll make it here and I'll make it bit here. So that's the plus point from the DeFi. There are options that you will get all the things on, but still here I believe there's a a very dark material. So what I'm going to do is I'll just click here and I'll make another one here, and I'll make the intensity to maybe 10 here. Okay, I hope that's okay. I'll increase the intensity a bit. Now the intensity is a bit high. I'll increase it to maybe, okay. Still, I believe it's still high. Okay, I'll just, okay. Now it's good. And if you need to have more here, now you can see you have two different rectangle light, but the corners and everything has been lit up. Now hope you can see here, and this is the actually the rendered nighttime image. So if you just render this one, and from here also, because you have a TV here, now I'll press the I here. Now if I just press I here and increase the intensity, so it will lit up all the scene. I mean, because of the the TV, there's a the global illumination and the ambient occlusion as well. So from this, your scene will lit up, but usually you don't have to do much intensity, because otherwise it will sees as a white image. So it's a bit unrealistic. So in order to do that, I'll make it under 5. So now it's pretty clear. So again, if I just move here and I'll see this light here. Now I'll just increase it a little bit more, 9, and I'll come back and see the results. Now you can see a pretty good realistic, because this cupboard also been covered with the the strip lights. In previous video we have done that, and here there are another thing that is called the, oh, I have made a mistake, because this light source is visible. So again, you have to careful with when you are doing it. So I'll make it this one. Now your light source is not visible, because it's artificial lighting. You don't have to show your the light shape here. Okay, sorry.
Now it's good. Now there's one thing remaining we have to do. That's actually light up the, the light fixtures we have done. So I'll make it perspective because otherwise it's a bit hard here, and press I here, and you can see these are the light fixtures here. It has been applied already the intensity. So if you just make it like this, intensity will be 0. There will be no the emissive material here. Now I'll just increase it like this, and here you have a couple of light fixtures you need to lit up. Okay, now I'll make it this one. This one. Okay, here it has been not selecting lights. Okay, it has selected all the model instead of this one. It doesn't matter because it does have the emissive material, but we have to use some point light here. So I'll make it some point light here. Intensity should be 2 here. Okay, now attenuation radius, I'll make it a bit lower. Okay. Instead of point light, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'll make it 0.5 here. Okay, attenuation radius to be very, because I need to lit up, maybe 8. Okay, now I can see. I need that one. Okay. Now again, what I'm gonna do is I'll just use the spotlight here. Okay. Now the intensity should be maybe 10 here. The cone angle will be like this. Okay. We'll see how it is now. I'll make it more warmer here. Okay, now it's good here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll just copy this one. Is there? Okay, there's another light spotlight here. So I'll make the light here. So you can use the wireframe as well, because I'll use some wireframe here. Sorry, because otherwise it's a bit hard to identify the location here. Now you can see, you should, okay, now it's good. So the workflow is a bit different because, since this, the light fixture has been identified as a whole, so you don't have to do the emissive material kind of a thing. So what you have to do is you have to place initially the point light here, and then the spotlight, because having point light will give you a certain glow here. It will act like a this here, I mean similar to this one, because if you have a bulb or a light fixture, you will lit up the the entire area from that. Then you need to have the point light that will focus on the light area. Now you can see my area has been pretty good here. Now whole the area has been identified as pretty good now. So then I hope you have enjoyed about this video.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another DeFi tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about the newest features of the DeFi render, that is where the latest release was the the 2.9 version, and which features the couple of very useful things like the facing tool and the terrain tool. The terrain tool is exist in another competitive products like the Lumion or another Twin Motion, but it's quite new to the DeFi render, but it does offer so much of new features, new elements to the terrain feature. So we'll explore that now. So here you have the terrain model. You have to click it, or otherwise you have to find out the terrain model here. Once you have clicked, then usually it will add to here. Usually it has been already added to my the tray here. So now what you can do is actually this whole area is my terrain. If you can see until the horizon here, it always the terrain. If you just click here, now here you have couple of options. It's called the terrain, and here you have three segments. The first one is sculpt, the second one is paint, and the third one is manage. So what the sculpt does is actually it does have this upward, the downward, erase, and the smooth and the flatten. So usually these things are tools for when you can do modification for your terrain. For example, now we'll learn about the upward. As in the meaning of the the wording, it will enable the this kind of a circular tool here, which will able to use your terrain to upward direction. For example, now if I just reduce my size, now you can see this is my size actually. So and I'll reduce my strength, and I'll explain you what are the things here. Now you can see I can create the terrain upward direction, and these tools, this size will decide the circle size will decide the area of the upward direction and the strength. So if you increase the strength up to here, now we can see it has been so I mean the fast forward all the process. Like if you just reduce it, so your process is like this. So as per your requirement, you can customize it. And here you have another option called the edge fall off. So I'll show you what this is actually. If you just increase the edge fall off, and if you just increase it, now you can see you have smooth edges here. Now if you just decrease it to 0, you have this kind of a there will be no slope as well, because it will be like the the circular, which as per my the area. Now again I'll show you the difference here. So I'll go here, I'll make it fly, okay, and I'll increase the speed as well. Okay, so this is the edge pole of 0. So like a complete without any the fall off. Now if you just increase the fall off, you can see there has been so much of a slope, and the fall off will be there. So that's the difference. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. And there's another feature called the brush texture. So where now if you just click the brush texture, you can have the couple of options now like this. So this will control the your this circle here. If you just click this kind of a the brush library, now you can see the old things has been changed, the how the the sensitivity and the the skull pattern has been changed. Again I'll change to another like this. So I'll increase the strength to a little bit more. Okay, now you can see whatever you require, those things can be done, because these are so much of new functions, because these things are not existing in other competitive products. It's brand new to terrain and the river end as well. So again, here you have the height map resources. You can import from the the template, because here they have the DeFi has the already provided couple of templates here. You can see these are the templates. So now I'll use this one, the Arctic one, and we'll see how it happens. So you can see now I've been using this one, And again, these things can be customizable because you can move here and there, and you can see how the these templates will blend with the existing the terrain feature. And here you have the height map. Now if I just decrease the height map, you can see there's been decreasing the height. And here you have the blend mode, the edge pull up as well. So you can see a difference in here. You can see, check this out, how the the edge fall off is happening here. And this is the location, rotation, and the size as well. So you can customizable options are there. So whatever things, again, you can import the 10 number of height maps resources here. Again, if we just increase it, if we just insert this one, you can see how it will blend with the existing one. You can see how it has been changing. It's mind blowing actually. There's a new feature that is actually having. So again, if we just blend that one, you can see it will form a natural kind of a the mountain area. That's a very, very good when compared with other tools. Again, that is actually the the upward, and here you have the downward. Similar to the upward, it will go down beyond the the surface, like the same pattern. They'll use same pattern. So you can see, can create like that, and this will erase the the whatever the things you have done here. Just increase the size here. Now you can see it has been comes to the normal positions. So you can do that as well. And here you have another one that is smooth. Now if you just want to smooth the surface like this, it has the strength is bit high, and the size. So now you can see I'm smoothing my the upward the sculpting which I have done here. Now I'm smoothing this one. Again, this one will be flattened. Whatever the things you have, that even this kind of a thing, it will flatten. Can see it will flatten the area, whole area like this. Okay, I hope we are clear about it. So you can do it by yourself to understand about this. So we'll move on to the next segment, that is actually the paint one. In paint, you have this couple of options here. The first one is ground, where you can paint the whatever the materials which you can import to this here. You can import up to 6 material types here. Now this is the ground grassland, which the existing one. So I'll just add another one from my the defined material here. So I'll add some the a pitch one that will be useful. Okay, now you can see what you can do is actually, if you want to paint in some of the areas here, you have to click this one, and this will have some of the couple of the material settings, the material scaling, the base color. If you want to change, you can change that one, and the base color map, normal map, and the roughness. So what I'm gonna do is, now I'll just click here, and I'm gonna paint. Now you can see I'll decrease the the size of the the brush here. Now you can see I'm painting. So likewise, you can customize your the terrain. Now you can see the potential from these options you can do. I mean, there are infinite number of things you can do. You can create the beaches, you can create the special terrains, you can create so much of natural elements from here. So that's actually the paint here. Likewise, you can import another, maybe a rocky type, this kind of a thing here, and we'll see how that will affect. Okay, can see that's been a very good feature. See, I have been painting this one. Okay, so that's clear. And the texture as well, how the texture will can do. So you can see the difference now, the texture, how the previous one and the new one. You can see the difference. Okay, hope you are clear about it. So we'll discuss about the the other features. Now here you have two options here. The first one is the slope, and the second one is the peak. whatever you can do. I mean, there are customizable, settings here. If you just click this one, you can have a new kind of the menu here, as well as from here as well. So here, the slope means actually, if you have created a, this kind of a terrain here, now let's go to this, the mountain type here. Now slope, what does actually the meaning is actually, if we just go here, and if you just click this one, and you can have these settings here. This is the material settings here. Now, if you just increase the erosion, now you can see something happening with the, my areas. So that means this slope is covered with this material type here. If you just increase it, you can see the snow will disappear and the slope will be there. And the weathering effect, how the weathering effect will affect, you can see. So if you just click this one, you can replace it with another material like, okay, this one, and you'll see the difference. Think, okay, I have replaced it. Can see the difference now? It has been changed to the newest material. Okay, if you are clear about it, I'll replace it to another, maybe this one. Let's see, can create infinite number of things from here. Okay, I'll be clear about it. I'll go back. Okay. Now I'll again select this one. The second option is the peak option. In peak option, so what you can do is you have this menu here. Here you have a couple of options like the peak altitude, the peak edge blend, the erosion, the UV stretch. So peak altitude means if you just increase it, so you can see your peak. I mean the top of the things. I mean currently it has been running like 47,573 meters. So if it's like the horizon here, a boundary here, the peak will affect only top of that. So usually if you're just increasing, you can see my, the whatever the things in the, the bottom, it will disappear because, it will affect, this effect will affect only for the, you know, the top from the, the 79,126 meters. So it will, gives, a certain level of, things like this. If you just decrease it, everything everywhere will be, that material because, my peak altitude is now 0. That means the ground level. So if you're just increasing it, you can see the effect will change. So it's a mind-blowing effect. And you have another option called the peak edge blend, how the edges are blending with the the things. You can see these things from here, and you have the option called erosion here. You can see how the erosion is working. So one small things, I think these are very small things, but it's very useful when you're doing so accurate realistic renderings. So this is the erosion you can see, and the UV stretch as well, how the the pattern should be there. So again, not like this, you can have you can replace your material from your library here. This is actually stone field, snow field. Can have another different things like this. Download this one to see how the effect will change your model. Okay, I'll add that one. Now you can see it has been changed. Okay, I'll go this one. Okay, I'll take very bit version. It has been my peak altitude. increase it. So you can see it's a good, way how you can, customize your design. Hope you're clear about it. So we'll talk to the next one, the manage one. In manage one, it will be now possible. You can import a customizable height map from your actual or maybe any other, the hypothetical, design. So you can import a height map from here and you can, hand import to DeFi render. Plus, you can do changes to that one. So that's the main advantage of having the sitemap. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. It's Terrain is a new feature which was added to recent release of 2.9, and you can do multiple of new features. The which can be very useful because yeah, rather than importing the in like previously we are importing from the the from third parties like some these mounters and those things, but these are so handy, so useful, and so much of easy. Hope you're clear about it. Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the phasing tool which was released with the the 2.9 version. I mean, if you have used the Lumion phasing tool, it might quite familiar, but there are things that might highlight the DeFi render phasing tool as a premium version, because also you if you have used the 3ds Max or any other Maya or any other platform, how much time you will consume to use animations like this, because in here in DeFi render it's like the pre-templates. You can use a lot of pre-templates. Plus it will be pretty much easy because they have provided some kind of animations for your phasing tool, and it's quite handy. So you might get familiar with that. The prior to anything, what you have to do is, I mean, if you just go the workflow here, you can see there are a couple of things you have to install it, because if you are using SketchUp Live Sync or the 3ds Max or the Revit, you have only these things with related to the Live Sync. So here you have the Revit, because currently I'm using Revit and the SketchUp as well. So I'll show you how you can optimize when you're using Revit, and how you can utilize the Live Sync tool to have the phasing tool as well as SketchUp as well. So what you have to do is you have to update the the latest version of the the Live Sync option from here. If you want, just click download it, and then it will be downloaded to a folder, and you have to install it. So that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So you have to do it. So once you have installed it, I'll show you it in Revit here. Here you have the DeFi render tool. So I'll prior to that, I'll just go to 3D view here. So there are a couple of options. You can have the DeFi phasing tools. In order to have the phasing tool work properly, you need to have a couple of things. The first thing is actually whatever things you want to animate. For example, like these benches or these some trees or any other things, you have to separate it from the main model. Because if you bundle it, if you combine all the model and send it to the the DeFi, it's pretty hard. You will be not able to do the phasing tool, because in order to have the phasing tool, the item should be separated from the main model. I'll show you how you can do that. So this is the Revit interface here. Here I have the DeFi render add-on here. And here you have the option called the export and the separated. So once you have exported that, your whole model will be going to the as a DeFi file. But here you have separated option. So what you have to do is you have to click this separate button, and this menu will be up. So, but I'll use some of the okay, I'll use this one to separate it. So I'll just go to the DeFi render, and I'll just use the separated button here. And here you have some of the options here. Now what I'm gonna do is group material. There are a couple of things you need to do this, because if you need to these these consistent colors, survey points, group material baskets, or any other things, so those things you have to do. But it's I'll not choose any of this. And what I'm gonna do is I'll export selected category rather than going with the export selected family types, or export select family instance. So that means two parameters from the Revit, instant parameter and the type parameter here. But I'll choose the export selected category. Once I click this one, it will be asked, a separate file location. So what you have to do is you have to type one thing and save it. So I have saved couple of things here at this moment. So I'll opt that one, and I'll again do some other things. So, okay, we'll check. Okay, I'll export this one as well. I'll go separated and export selected category. Okay, it was not it was a not family actually. It was okay. I'll choose this one. No worries. Go D5 separate, and I'll make it so. So there will be some time to export this process, but if you have high-end machine, it will be very pretty easy, and it will be less time. So I'll wait a couple of seconds, and these are the things you have to do when you are when you want to have the phasing tool, because these things will be fully animated using the phasing tool. Now we'll just go to the SketchUp as well. I hope you're clear about the Revit thing. Now let's dig into Revit and the D5 render syncing, and how you can do the phasing with related to the Revit. So now currently I'm viewing the Revit file here, some of the elements which we have sent it as a separate D5 file in here. So I'll just go to the new project here. Okay. Okay, and now I'm gonna disable the terrain here. Now currently, if I just go here and go to the D5 render here, now in SketchUp also you have the live sync option, but I have exported it as the SketchUp file into a separate SketchUp file, and then I imported it to the D5 render. Similarly, you can do it in here as well, but I'm gonna use the live sync button here. You can see I'm gonna start the D5 render here. Actually, I have already started, so it will ask for some pop-up there. Since this file has a large amount of data, it might take some times. Okay, we'll wait a couple of seconds. Okay, now it's loading here. Okay, now you have placed it. Okay, I'll click the file button again. It is the model. Okay, so you can see the model here. Now, similarly, what we have done with the SketchUp and the D5 syncing. Now I'm going to import some files from the separate file which I have saved separately from the Revit. Here you have the tables here. I'll just import that one. Okay, it does comes with the some other elements as well. So I'm gonna ignore that one, and I'm gonna click this one. Okay. Now you can see some of the elements here. Doesn't matter where you're gonna place. You can sync the coordinates. So I'm gonna use that one, but yeah, I'll use these benches as well. Okay, now place whatever the place you want. Yeah, this is the place you want, and just go to the object here and select all these options and click this coordinate. Now you can see it has been placed according to the the coordinate system. You can see properly. There will be so much of things has been added. Okay, hope you're clear about it. Now it has been added everything in perfect way. Okay. With SketchUp, actually, I'm using the latest version of the DeFi Live Sync here. You can see this is the Live Sync installed here. And here you have couple of options like, so this is a very sample model of the, the SketchUp here. So what you have to do is in order to, give a proper phasing tool, you have to categorize it or otherwise you have to group it. Now, for example, so these two cars can be grouped here. And here you can make a special group here. Now it has been a group here. Now again, what I'm going to do is I'll click this one by pressing the shift button. I'll add these trees as a special group. Likewise, and right click and make a group. Now you can see I have two groups here, that is vehicle and the vegetations. So now what you have to do is you have to click this both two and you have to click this one, export here. So in here, you can only select the selected only. And here you have the create group structure info. And currently you have two layers here. So just pick the two layers here and export it to a different locations. So that will comes into a special two groups here, which will be able to, import into the DeFi render. So I hope you're clear about it. So you have to do it. I mean, because in phasing tool, what I need is actually, I need to animate these two layers. So others will be standstill. So that's my purpose. So that's why I have categorized it and export it. So hope you're clear about it. So okay, in SketchUp, we have exported the, some files separately. And this is the base file. I have, again, saved it to another file as a SketchUp file. But, all other files I have, saved as a group DeFi file types. So if I just go to the DeFi here. Correct. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna import the, this is the full house here. So I'm going to import that one. Okay, now we can see I'll double click and this is my full house. So if you just fly it, now this is, you can see the full house without, the other object. So now again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the, the separate files which I have sent separately. Okay, I have imported it. Now this is my file tab. You can see this is the file tab, the two cars and the, the vegetations here. But, when you are, import it separately, there will be a problem that might be the, cause that you can't find the exact location where it is below, right? So it's a problem here. So now I'll just place it here in DeFi render. Now you have the option called the sync coordinates. Once you click those two files and sync coordinate, automatically DeFi will, act accordingly to the coordinates and place them in the correct position. So again, these are the two models here. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just click this one and this one too. Sorry, I'll just go to the objects here. Okay, this one and this one. Now I have selected both of them. And here you might be seeing the sync coordinate options. If you just click this one, you can see, all things will go to the the correct coordinate. So now we can see these things has been in accordance with the coordinates which you can find it in the SketchUp. So hope you're clear about it. Okay, now we are good to go with a the pacing tool. So prior to the pacing animation, I'm gonna add some of the the other elements from here. Not only the exported objects, you can animate using the DeFi assets as well. So here what I'm gonna do is I'll just add some random trees all over here. So I'm gonna place this one here, and here you have a new option called the random size. So I'm gonna click this one and can see now it has been a different type of random trees here. It's pretty new to the DeFi as well. So I'm gonna add some of the okay. I think I have added some of the events here. So okay, now okay, I have missed one here. So I'm gonna add same thing. Okay, that has been completed. Now let's add some some grass types here. I'm gonna click this one and I'm gonna down here and I'm gonna pay. So I'll add another couple of grass type here. I'll add these two. Um, I'm gonna press. Otherwise, it will be very easy. I will make small and more. That's good to go. Until okay. Now grass has been added to my model here, and I'll add some new characters as well. So originals, okay, start here, and this guy as well. I'll download that guy. And some casual guys. It's two here. That's it. Yeah. So I think I have added a couple of characters as well here. Now you can see in this model we have the Revit default model plus the exported model from the Revit itself plus DeFi assets like the characters and the vegetations. So in order to, gain access to the phasing, you need to click this video button. Once you have clicked this one, if you just go to the template here, you can see, simple animations like this. There are actually a couple of animations where you can use it for the phasing tool. So what you have to do is initially you have to click one type of animation. So for example, I'll just use this drop animation. Now I have clicked my drop animation here. Now what I have to do is I need to click the objects. So first you need to click the animation, then you need to click the objects. So now I'm gonna click one by one. So initially I'm gonna click this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. Now you can see there are a couple of elements or objects here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 number of elements are selected. Either you can choose it from the viewport, or you can go with the objects or the imported item. You can select from here as well. That's up to you. So once you have clicked that one, what you can do is just click the done button. Now a new timeline will appear on the bottom of your screen here. Now you can see this is the timeline here. So this animation will last only 3 seconds. So I'll make it maybe 6 seconds. And you can see my timeline has been dragged here. Now if you just play here, now you can see one by one from the sky, because I have choose the drop, the animation, it has been added from the sky. You can see it's pretty clear. So if you just go over here and play again, you can see one by one that all the elements will be added to my viewport here. That's animation. That's the phasing animation. So now what you have to do is you have to add a new animation type. For example, I'll use another animation type like this kind of animation, a pop-up, or like this pop-up for the trees. Now I'm going to click this one and I have to add one by one. So I'll choose this one as the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh and the eighth and the ninth. So you can differentiate the pattern or a sequence from here. You just have to click this one and you can just drag whatever the place you want. So that's up to you. So again, now you have to again click the done button. Once you have clicked that, now then there's a new animation called the pop-in, because I have select the pop-in and I'll make it 6 seconds again. Now if you just play it from the beginning, now you can see my phasing animation is going pretty cool. Now the popping up is coming up like this. You can see the beauty of the phasing animation. So not only that, actually you can drag your timeline like this to whatever the place you want. So when the first animation happening, simultaneously your second animation can occur like this. I hope you're clear about it. Again, I'll choose the human as well as my third the animation. So for that one, I'll make the accent. Okay. Now, if you just select it from the the resource list. So if you go here and if you find the humans, okay, you can see the manager and DC. So from here as well, you can select them. And if we just press shift button and select this one, all three will be selected like this. So it's up to you actually. So now you can click the done button here. Now you can see once this animation is complete or a bit drag to here, and I'll make it my animation timeline like this. Now we'll play that one. You can see it has been appeared. Okay. Now you know how you can add animations with related to your objects or elements, and how you can adjust your timeline, right? But there are a couple of things you need to learn prior to do the animation part. So in here, you know that you can drag here and there for this kind of a thing like this. But here you have a couple of options. If you just click these three dots here, if you just click this one, you can see the duplicate, copy, paste, and the cut option. So I'll duplicate the file, the paging animation this time. Now I'm duplicating. Now you can see I have duplicated my animation type here. So if you just go back here and if I just play again this one, you'll see a big difference when you can see it has been disappearing and appearing like this. So again, if you want to cut this one, you can see I can reduce the amount of time it has consumed like this, and if I just press down one, you can see I'll play it from the beginning. Only that part related to the animation will appear. All other parts will be disappear. If you want to you know restore it, you can do it, or you can cut button and you can increase it as to the previous version. Okay, and press done. Likewise, you can adjust it. It's like a continuous, the loop. You can see which, this animation is 6 seconds long, and this animation is only 5.2 seconds long. Because of that, this element has not completed. So what you can do is you can increase it to the 6. Okay. Now you see. Okay. No, it's not like that. You have to make it be okay. Oh, now this will clear. Okay, now it's clear. Again, you have another couple of options here. You can either copy and paste, and you can delete the file as well. And here you can, rename the phasing animation like the chairs. And here, so this will be very easy to understand about the pacing type which you have used. So then you can customize it as per your requirement because it's pretty easy to see. And here also you can customize it. And here you can able to change the animation time duration. For example, like 8 seconds or maybe 6 seconds, likewise. Hope you're clear about it. If I just play it from the beginning. Okay, now it has been completed. So we'll go to the comprehensive understand about the animation. But prior to that, I want to highlight that this here there's another option called the switch wheel. Even though we have done the phasing animation, we have not exported our phasing animation as a video. In order to do that, you just have to go to switch view here, and here you have the current view. Just press this one and again press this one, and you can see it has a very limited time Now, my animation has not been completed, because if you just go to this, the my phasing animation, you can see it will long more than the 12 seconds. But if you just go here, it will only like 3 seconds. So what you have to do is you just have to at least 1 second, to exceed your phasing animation, then it will be completed like this. So now you have completed your phasing animation. Now you can export it to the the different the resolution types. Okay, now let's learn more about the the phasing tool. If you just press this one, here you can see some drop down menus and some of the the elements like the animations, the properties, the time interval, and the effects. So what these options actually mean. So if you just press this one, you can see, if you just play this one, you can see this is the way my phasing animation is happening. You can see it. Now, if I just go back to the start here, and what I'm going to do is I'll just press this one. And here you have a couple of animations here, the linear, ease in, ease out, and the speed in out, similar to, the video animation. We'll check one by one. So if you just press the linear one, and here you have a small play button here. If you just press this one, you can see this is how the linear works. There will be no such animation like this. And again, we'll click the ease in. Now check the difference between ease in. You can see that the latter part will be much quicker than the linear one, and the ease out, and we'll play that one as well. Now you can see this is too slow at the end of the animation. So if we just ease in, you can see the latter part is bit higher rate than the previous one. And you have the ease in now. That means from the beginning and the end there will be such a thing. Now you can see it will be start very rapidly and it will end it very slow. So that is it actually. And this is speed in now, and we'll check that one. You can see it like dropping at a certain height. So hope you're clear about it. As per your requirement, as per your the desire, you can change these things. Okay. Hope you're clear about it. And we'll check out the properties. In properties, initially you will have the objects and two drop-down menus. That is the sort by object list and the sort by world coordinates. So what does actually this mean? So if you just click this sort by object, whatever your sequence, what you have clicked on the the resource, this will act accordingly. Similarly, if you just play this one, this is the first one, the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one. Okay, if you just press again this one, and if you make it sort by the world coordinates, so it will appear this kind of a menu here. So it will change according to your direction. So, for example, now since it's X direction, it will act as X direction. So you can see this is the X direction. Okay, again pause, and we'll go back to here and click this one, and we'll make it the Y direction. Now let's see what will happen here. You can see the Y direction will be the first priority. And if you just go the EZ, then you have pressed this one. Now it will act accordingly, because if you have certain different level of heights, so it will act accordingly to that. Hope you're clear about it. Again, just press this one. And here you also have the reverse button. It will be minus X direction rather than the X direction. So if you just press this one, and if you just click this one, you can see this is the direction. Now, if you just go back here and press this one and reverse this one, we'll see what happens. So a different direction will be appeared like this, the opposite of the X direction. Okay, hope you're clear about it. Go back here, and here you have, I'll just untick this one. Here you have some other terms called the time interval. So here you have, couple of, the time interval patterns. This is simultaneously. If you just press this one, all thing will be simultaneously. You can see all thing will be coming on simultaneously. Again, move back here and press the, this one, the cascading. That will be the default one, like this. Again, just press this one and go back here. And here you have a sequential path. Yeah, they will select, a sequential like this. And here you have the option called custom as well. And this custom will be added some, random things like this. Okay, go back here, just press one. And here you have the, the duration. So if you just decrease it, you can see the old. So I'll press this one. Oh, this one. And I'll just decrease the time. Now you can see it will be so much slow, and the last part all will be dropped. So if you just go here, and if you just increase the timer here, you'll see it's much quicker. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. So there's another option called the distance, where the height should be, the drop should be at. Okay, just press this one. And if you just increase height, you will not see the, the high duration, but I'll make it very near to the here. Now you can see it will be start around here. Okay, hope you're clear about it. It's pretty easy. I mean, pretty straightforward. Again, I'll just press this one. And the visibility. If you want to visible before start, you have to click this one. You can see at the very beginning, it will show. If you don't want that, just click this one and visibility at the end. So if you want to disappear at the end, so just click this one. You can see it will be disappear like this. This can be applied to certain level because it will be so useful when you are having a construction. And finally, you have the effects button here. Either you want to rotate it. So if you just can see the rotation. Again, if you just click this one, and if you want to bounce it. Okay, I'll click this one, and I don't want to disappear at the end. So you can see there's a small bounce there. So that's all from the phasing tool. I hope you're clear about it because it's really fascinating and it will be keep upgrading by the DeFi team because that will be the most usual thing. They will keep adding, a lot of things to the, the certain things that will be very useful for the architects and the engineers, whoever use the DeFi. Okay, now let's dig into some post-processing tips. But it's not through the DeFi render. We are doing it through the Photoshop. So in order to understand about this video, you don't need to have a proper or experienced knowledge of, the Photoshop. By the looking at this video, you can learn Photoshop because giving a glimpse of realism through Photoshop will be much more beneficial because, there are some limitations when you are doing it through the DeFi render, but in once you have uploaded your images to the Photoshop, there will be limitless of opportunities. So now let's begin again. So in Photoshop, this is actually Photoshop. In Photoshop, you have two options that once with all the channels, once you have rendered with all the channels, so you can or upload it to the Photoshop because each channel will be helpful But even though you have the final rendering image like this, you can edit that one also. So, but for today's tutorial, I'm gonna import the all the stack. Now, initially what I'm gonna do is I'll just go to the file here, and I'll just go to script here, and here you have the load files into stack. So I'll browse it. Now you can understand these are the the channels which I have rendered through the the D5 render. Is has the albedo, the material, the normal map, the ambient occlusion, and the material ID reflection likewise. So what I'm going to do is I'll select it and I'll press OK. Now all the images has been selected. Now I'll select the OK button. Now you can see one by one all the images has been uploaded to the Photoshop here, because each and every this channel map has some details, but we are not going to dig into so much, because I know that some people usually opt to the Photoshop. They are gonna omit the Photoshop editing. So but now you can see all the images has been uploaded here. Again, you can have just remember the one with the top of the stack. That means this one will be shown, all other things will be, I'll hide this one. Okay, now initially what I'm going to do is, so just remember these steps. These are very simple steps. I'll just go to the filter here, and I'll just make this the image as a convert to smart filters. The benefit of having the smart filters is, once you have clicked these smart filters, you can see this kind of icon there. Now for example, what I'm going to do is, since I have uploaded some of the the filter here, now if you just go to the Gaussian blur here, now you can see this is the Gaussian blur I have applied. I'll make it 15, and you can see now that my image has been covered with the Gaussian blur. But with the help of smart filters, you can click this one, hide this one, and you can see the original image. So that's the benefit of having the smart filters. You can have this kind of a stacked level of hierarchy of all the filters you're going to apply. And once, if you do not need it, that the final filter, you can hide that one. Okay, hope you're clear about it. Now I'm gonna hide, or I'm just gonna undo this one. Okay, I have undo this one. Okay, the first thing is you have to create a a camera filter here, because you can see in this image it's lack of realism bit, because there are some effects with related to the shadows and something. So we are gonna fix that through the camera filter. You can see that this is called the camera raw filter. Now once you have clicked this one, there will be another window will be pop up like this, and you can see from this image. So if your image has been overexposed, your image will be like this. It will be so washed like this. If it's underexposed, this histogram will be like this. It will goes to the left side. So you can see this is now the underexposed here. You can see now it has been overexposed here. So usually keep it under this one. Then you can see it's a balanced one. But you can adjust a bit here. I'm going to increase a bit of exposure there. And I'll just increase, the shadows. You can see it has been brightened up some of the areas now. Okay, I'll just reduce it again. Okay, I hope this is clear about it. And the contrast, can see I'll add this some of the the blacks as well. Can see I'm gonna reduce the blacks here. And again, if you want to have this is actually a sunny day, so in order to have this sunny day, you need to have a temperature here. So I'm gonna increase the temperature a bit. You can see the difference now. If you just click this one, you can see the original image. This is actually the recent one. Okay, and I'm going to increase the tint as well a bit here, and the vibrance as well. Okay, so it has been pop up all the colors because of that. And the texture, if you want to have more detailing about your the image here, again I'm going to increase a bit of texture there. So now you can see you have clearly done something. This is the original image. Now this is the, the corrected one. Okay. So hope you're clear about it. And if you want to have vignette effect, that means, okay, and the vignette effect. So can have the grain here. And I'll just increase a bit here. Okay. Now it has been okay. Now I'll just click OK. Okay, I think there will be some more thing with related to camera raw filter. So there will be some grain effect here because of that. Okay, now it will be okay. Or I'll just reduce it like this. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now you can see my image has been a perfectly balanced camera raw filter. Even though you can double click this one and you can edit this one. Hope you're clear about it. So now let's move on to another feature. This feature has been released very recently. In the edit panel, you have option called the sky replacement. So currently you can see this sky is good, but I'll just improve that sky. So here you have the sky replacement here. Now you can see automatically this sky will be applied to this one. Now it's a bit darker. So here you have the ton of, the library of, all the, sky here. So you can apply this one, you can see the difference, and you can apply even this one or even this one. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is you have some of the things with related to shift edges. You can see all the edges will be shift, but I don't want to that or want that one. And the fade the old edges, so I don't need that one as well. Now I'm going to increase the brightness because it's a pretty sunny day here. Now I have increased it, and I'll just increase the temperature a bit as well in order to match with the the other environment here. And again, you have the option called the flip, but I'll rather keep it as the default level. Now I'll just click the OK button. Now you can see my image has been more realism onto now here. So again, there will be another option. What I'm going to do is I'll just add some volumetric lighting here. In order to do volumetric lighting, first you have to do create a new layer here. Now I have created a new layer, so I can rename my layer as sun rays. Okay. So now what you have to do is you have to create a gradient here. So here you have the option called the gradient tool. If you just click this one, you can have this kind of a menu here, and here called the classic gradient and the gradient here. Now if you just click the here, sometimes it will comes as like this. You have to go to the basic here and click this one, the middle one. And what you can do is you have to click from here. Now you can see I'm creating a new layer that will affect this area because my sun will be coming from here and the sun rays. So in order to achieve this part need to be lit up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll just create this layer. Now you can see I have applied some of the layers. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll just create a new layer mask here because I want to mask this thing because it's too much here. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just click here and I'm gonna do some brush tool here, and I'll click, here you have the option, a different kind of options here. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just click this one. I can, and just wait a minute. So this is the area. Now you can see I'm gonna a bit, I hope you can clear this because here you have a couple of options to light up this one and this one as well. You can see I'm gonna delete this thing. Similarly, you just go over here and you can, this one, okay, this one. And see, I'm gonna apply some of the areas, because if you don't unhide the previous layer like this, because you can't see these things clearly. Again, I'm gonna apply, because in all these areas it's gonna apply, but these areas will be highlighted like this. Okay, I hope now it's clear. Again, okay, now you can see I have a layer mask as well, and this is my current photo. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go here and I'll just use soft light here. Now you can see, if you apply the soft light, your sun will coming through this direction, and you can see this area has been light. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. So if you just decrease the opacity here, say suppose at 50%, it can, okay, now you can see it has been reduced. Okay, I hope you're clear about it. That's how we are gonna do it. So these are some of the post-processing tips, and we'll learn some more tips as well. Another very important thing in the interior rendering and the exterior rendering, when you have some objects, you need to have a motion blur, right? For a particular scene like this, you can see this has been a interior scene where you have to have this kind of a person there, but usually in practice, so what you are going to do is you have to apply some motion blur filters for this kind of object, and it will give so much of realism, plus it will gives you the a real value to your image. So in order to do that, you have to first duplicate your layer here. So I'm going to duplicate my layer. Now you can see I have two layers, a same layer. Now what you have to do is you have to select the object you need to have the motion blur. Currently this one, you have to go to this one and right click one, and here you have the object selection tool here. Just click this one, and here now I've been selecting one object, and you can see it has been omitted this part. So here you have the option, you need to add another item to your selection. Just click this one and click this one. So now you can see it has been selected my whole object. Now what you have to do is you have to just select a layer mask here, and once you have select the layer mask, you can see the black background and the white, the selected object. So right click this one, and okay, now here you have the option called the convert to smart. Okay, convert to a smart layer option, smart object. So you have to select this one. Now it has been only one layer now. If I just unhide this one, you can see this is the object which you have selected. So these are the two layers existing. Now what you have to do is you have to go to filter here, and the blur here, and the motion blur here. Now you can see from here also. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just make the angle like this, and I will apply some of the motion blur effect here. Okay. Okay, I'll make it 0. I can see how it's not good. So now, okay. Now you can see it has been motion blur. So likewise, you can do, and you can apply this effect to the the vehicles moving when you have exterior scene, and if you have another movements like that, so you can apply this effect. So hope you're clear about it, and thank you very much for you know all these courses because I know that I have covered some extent from the DeFi render and some post processing, and these are the post processing tips. And I hope that you have learned from this. Thank you very much for all the support by by applying these all the things into your project, and the model will help you to achieve more realism. And thank you very much again.